video, I'll read the questions about adopting a child. Once upon a time, we were going to adopt a boy that's in Honduras, but we never got around to doing this paperwork. And I'm going to answer these questions. Part 2A, Individualized Family Profile for Couples with Children, Youth. About family relationships. The following information should be filled out together by all the adults in the family. 1. How do you think having a new child in your home will change your family's lifestyle? Well, the biggest impact would be that we wouldn't have to send, or my wife wouldn't have to send $200 a month to Honduras because the child would be here. Now, there is a child, my cousin's son. He could come visit. Then I wouldn't be lonely because he could hang out with me. We could do a bunch of things, like organize this garage and fix a bicycle for him, things like that. All right. 2. In your family, what are ways you show the following emotions? Happiness. Oh, I used to sing and dance. I used to play games. I used to exercise. I used to put music. I used to go to the park and play soccer or play something, tag. I still go to the park, but I don't play with my children. My son and daughter don't want to play with me anymore. At this time, this was when my children were less than 5 years old. I've had this for a while. Now my children are 11 and 15 years old. So how do I show happiness now? I play soccer with my friends, which are children and their parents. I get a good feeling when I build something, like when I put wheels on these things. I get a great feeling when I cut a tree down, or a tree branch, or even just cutting the grass, and I get that done for a neighbor that appreciates it. Like Ms. Brown sent a letter. Thank you, I appreciate what you do for me. Thank you so much. Please take this as a token of my appreciation. Okay, B, how do you show love and affection? Well, with my son, I hug him. With my daughter, I tried hugging. She doesn't want to be near me. And with my wife, how do I show love and affection? It's primarily through sex. I don't hug her at all. I don't talk to her at all. Of course, I'm making this video after I've been incarcerated several times. 3 times. How do you show anger in your family? Oh, my wife by yelling, and me by punching things like holes in the wall. But this was long ago. But I always figured, oh, I could fix this. Now, of course, what she would do is hire a carpenter to fix things. Her method was throwing my things around. But now that I'm in this year in 2016, October, I just stay in the garage. If I get angry, I go to work, like I dig, and I get the roots out for my neighbor, or I cut a tree branch for myself or for my neighbor. I get busy working. Now, with disappointment, how do you deal with disappointment? I keep finding ways to motivate myself. I listen to videos by Tony Robbins and other motivational videos on YouTube. How do you deal with frustration? I calm myself down by remembering that vengeance is the Lord's. How do you show sadness or depression? I sleep. Like on Saturday and Sunday, I spent all weekend by myself. I do go outside so I get fresh air. I do open the door. I do play with my dog. I take her with me wherever I go to work or to visit a friend. I visit one friend that's in a wheelchair. This friend usually needs me to do something for her. I used to give her water and things like that, but right now she's feeling very good, so she's getting her own stuff. Alright, so I still move some boxes for her and things like that. I cut a tree down for her, things like that. Alright, with stress, how do you deal with stress? When I have stress, I go play soccer at the park. Or I organize something here in the garage. Like right now, I'm tossing letters from 1993, which is I moved down from Chicago in 1992 in December. And so then we were selling the herbal energizer, which had a Phaedra, which wasn't very good. But it did get people to move. It was a pill. So I've got their letters and some say thank you and some say no, this made me dizzy and things like that. So I've been tossing. I'm trying to live out of a suitcase. So except for my tools and equipment, I'm trying to organize and give things away and things like that. Like all of those tennis rackets. My children and I don't go play tennis anymore, so I will have to donate them. Alright, number 3. How are decisions made in your family? Well, Anna decides everything on her own. And she is a bully. What's different is that in the last 4 months, for the last 11 years, I didn't really work. And when I did, she used to take all the money when I worked as a substitute teacher here. So what I do is I work as a gardener now, and I make maybe $40 or maybe up to $400 a month. And what I do with that money, gardener slash babysitter, what I do with that money is I keep as much of it as possible. Like this month I gave her $50. That was it. Last month, I'll have to take a look. I use Monify, the app Monify. And that's how I keep track of money. So how are decisions made in your family? My wife makes the decisions about what to buy. I don't go to Walmart with her because she doesn't want to buy anything that I put in the cart. Even though she doesn't believe that the food stamps belong to everybody. She believes that it's only what she wants to buy. And yet she also worships our daughter and buys whatever our daughter wants. So she makes her decisions on her own. What I'm doing differently is that I'm putting money in my pocket so I can eventually move out. Number 4, what causes the most arguments and how are arguments ended? The most arguments are caused by my wife yelling. She's yelling because I don't give her enough money. She believes I should give her $1,000 or at least $500 a month. Most arguments are ended by me walking away from her or by calling the cops in the past. But that hasn't been beneficial because the cops never took her away. When she was destroying things and throwing my things around, they would come, they would look, and they just would not take her away. All right. Number 5. How is work in your family divided up, and what happens when someone doesn't want to do their part? All right, work is divided by Anna doing all the bill paying and all the work. She also does all the cooking and all the cleaning. She just started getting the kids to help her carry the groceries out of the car into the house and putting the groceries away. And she just started with getting them to do the trash and to put their own clothes away. But my daughter has been putting her clothes away for years, but my son, she's finally getting him to do these things. When someone doesn't want to do their part, she starts yelling, but I just stay away from her. And eventually she talks to me in a calm voice and says, when am I going to cut the grass in the backyard or the front yard or whichever. And so usually I don't cut the grass so that we can eventually talk. And when we talk, I usually tell her that the whole family should get involved. If someone's inside, they should make the lemonade. And everybody else, they should do some kind of work, like cut portions of the grass. All right, 6. If you have children now in your home, who takes care of your children when you are not at home? Well, I'm always home. So I could say I take care of them, but my daughter, she has been taken care of by her friend's mother or other friends that she has. On the weekends, I could say my mother takes care of the children, if that's where they are, because my wife has lied to me about where the children are in the past. B. How will this plan change after a child is placed in your home? Well, the child that I was thinking of is Carlos in Honduras, so he would just be with me all day long. Simple. It wouldn't change. C. If you and your spouse or partner had a serious illness or injury, or you died, what arrangements have you made for the care of your birth children, children you are fostering or adopted? Are these plans in the form of a written or verbal agreement? No, we haven't made any plans. If your family had some kind of financial, emotional, or health problem, whom could you turn to for help? Well, in the United States, you turn to the government for food stamps and things like that. Medicaid for whatever doctor you need. You go to the church sometimes, but many times the churches don't help you. So who else? I have a half brother. So they would be involved, but he already said in the past that he would just put our son in a military school and something like that. So apparently he's not a hands-on dad. Like, let's do something together. Let's go bike riding. He's not like that, apparently. I don't know. 8. What reaction does this person have to your desire to become a foster family or adoptive family? Which person? Oh, who would help? Well, the government? What reaction does the government have to my desire to become a foster family? They might like it, who knows? 9. How do you think becoming a foster family or adoptive family will affect the following situations? hey, the amount of time you and your spouse or partner have alone together. Well, we don't have any time alone together because my wife starts yelling. And if I tell her to watch the world's strictest parents TV show on YouTube, it takes maybe three days to watch one episode because she just doesn't want to do it. She prefers to do other things and she prefers to watch other TV shows. But she has watched at least 10 of them at least. So the only time we spend alone together is now that she's not yelling so much because I stay in the garage. Is for sex in the mornings or something. That's it. B. The, how will it affect your family when the way you do chores or the way that chores are divided in your family? Well, if we're a foster family, that wouldn't change anything because even if my little cousin comes to visit for 3 months or so, perhaps I would do his laundry. That's about it, or help him get the laundry done. But it's the only change. See, the way your family expresses happiness, love, affection, anger, disappointment, stress, frustration, or sadness, how would this change if you adopt someone? Or it probably wouldn't change because I would give them all my love since the other ones don't want to spend time with me. And I would still go to play at the park. If he doesn't want to go to play at the park, then I just send him back to his mother. I give him a chance, maybe send him to one of the friends that we have. They have children, and our son, he goes there whenever he doesn't want to go anywhere with me. How would it change the amount of money that I have? It wouldn't, because I would still take him to work in the mornings if he's homeschooled. So like, I would still take him to work in the mornings. I work about 2 hours and then I come and eat or something like that, take a shower. What do you think will be the most positive change foster care or adoption will have on your family? Well, if it would have brought Carlos 10 years ago, the whole life would have been different. But it didn't happen. So, what do you think will be the most positive change? Oh, the kids would probably fight. Positive change, though. Well, I don't know. But if he came, he would learn carpentry. He would learn how to do things. 11. What parts of foster care or adoption do you think might be the most difficult for you? Filling out the paperwork. 12. What role does spirituality or religion play in your life? For me, it's very important. So I talk to God every day. And I try to do work that God wants me to do. Like sometimes I don't feel like going over to someone's house. Well, my friend with a wheelchair. But I went today for a little bit. I did my duty there, and then I got out of there. You see, some people take away your energy. And this friend of mine, I do my best not to clash with her. For instance, what I tell her, sell the house, donate everything, and live in a little trailer and be happier in my backyard. But she says she loves her house. see how that's possible. If it was a tiny house and but you have so much stuff that you're not going to use, like a sofa, things like that. You have chairs that with sofa with boxes on it and things like that. I would just donate the sofa. And here I have a mattress. Well, I'm gonna find out if once I get those tools from Craig Tools, then I'll be able to build something for like a base for the mattress, or I'll be able to build a Murphy bed. All right. So spirituality plays an important role in my life. Now I don't go to church because they have a lot of beautiful women there, and so I avoid going to see them. And also I went with Jehovah's Witnesses, and their talks are, their public talks is what they say, or their speeches, the speakers, they give good information. Does God love you? Yes. What is your duty on earth? To love God. Things like that. They give things that, they give good sermons. How, okay, and so when I go to the other churches, the, I believe I would be a better pastor than the pastor that I go to see. So therefore, it's almost like what my classmate said. He went to take a martial arts class, and he said, but I defeated the teacher already, so I didn't want to become his student. How difficult would it be for you to help a child continue in a religion other than your own? What if the child has no formal religious experience? Alright, well, the second part, I would talk to them about my religion. And would it be difficult to teach them about another religion that's not my own? Not too much, because I study about the Buddhists and so on. Well, at least the Buddhists. I read about them. There's a Buddha boy on YouTube. He sits under a tree and he meditates. Alright, 14. Our agency tries to place children with families who can best meet the needs of the child. We match your strengths with the children who need placements. Please describe the child that you feel would best fit into your family. Be as specific as possible. Alright, the boy is in Honduras. At the time he was 9 years old. Now he's 17 years old. How would you help the child feel comfortable in your home? I would go play soccer with him. I would treat him as my son and friend. How would this child be accepted in your neighborhood? Well, all the neighbors here, we keep away from each other. I'm the only one that meddles with them as far as, like, I go cut their grass, or I ask them if they want me to cut their grass, things like that. But they don't knock on my door. How would the child fit in your schools? Well, I was planning on homeschooling the child, so he wouldn't fit in the school. By your family and friends. Alright, this is a very good question. I'm 44 years old, and my friends are on Facebook. How many friends do I have? I have 3 people that I see at the park. They're parents. another friend, one neighbor that lives with us part of the time. So then I have another one that visited me. He's visited me twice this year, maybe three times. So friends in the United States are very, very shallow in the sense that, well, who is a friend? What is a friend? I gotta look that up. A friend is a person you like. A friend is a person that you do something for. You do something with them. So with the wheelchair lady, I go eat dinner with her. I make her company. She talks, and I eat, and I do a few things for her around the house. I have several customers. They pay me. Would they be my friends? I see them more often than other people, than family. Oh, my family? Well, I don't really have a family. At least I have people that are related to me, like my son, my daughter, my wife. But we don't really do anything as a family. How would you help this child with his or her cultural identity? Well, that boy from Honduras, I would talk to him about my experience growing up in Honduras, and I would do my best to help him learn the skills he needs, like how to cook. He might like some food from Honduras. Of course he would. He grew up over there. What experiences have you had with other cultures? With other cultures, I found out that the Chinese are very, very much like the ones I want to be. They're organized. The ones that grow up here, the children, I'm talking about my Tai Chi teacher now. His son didn't want to learn Tai Chi, so that was sad. His daughter did learn. His wife did learn. She knew more than I did. So what about the cultures? What's the question about the cultures? What experiences have I had with other cultures? Well, I found out that some people, they help each other, and others, they just stay away from each other. They just don't interact with anyone. I'm talking about some neighbors, whether they be black or white, they just stay away from each other. My customers, though, we seem to know something about each other, like that we're supposed to help each other. Yes. How can you help a child maintain connections with a culture that is different from your own? I suppose we could go read a book about it. Maybe he would have some friends that are of his culture. About the home and community. Imagine that we're going to describe your home and neighborhood to a child we're going to place with you, or to the parents of that child. How would you like for us to describe your home and community? My home, it's a single family home with no association fees. It's got a backyard, we have a dog, we have cats. You can walk around here and you won't see anybody, so it's pretty safe to walk around here. as far as there are no gangs, there are no bullets. This is the stuff I wrote back when I wrote this down. There are no bullets like in Chicago. I used to walk around and hear gunshots, or I used to see the shells from the shotguns in the alley when I used to walk the dog on the floor. So this is a peaceful area where I live right now. 2. Every family has rules. For example, no swearing, no walking around the house barefoot. Regarding the rules in your home, what rules can sometimes be broken? I believe that most of the rules here can be broken. Like there is karma. I told my wife that we had a child care before, so we shouldn't have any glass picture frames or glasses made out of glass in the home. She broke that rule. Then my daughter broke the rule by eating in her room and dropping a glass and cutting her foot. So there we go. She must have been barefoot. She must have been taking food to her room, which I didn't want her to do, and she took a glass. So, but the culprit there is my wife, the disobedient one, disrespectful one. What rules can never be broken? Well, we don't really talk to each other, so we don't really have any rules. Describe any pets you have. Please give the type of pet, the name, and how long the pet has been in your family. Okay, the pet at the time. At the time, we didn't have any pets when we did this. Now we have a dog that's 5 years old, and she sleeps here with me right there. And the cats, they sleep with the wife or somewhere else. Now I finally have my own room, which is this garage. My wife took most of her things out. There are some more things that she needs to take out. Stuff there, but some of it is mine, some of it is hers. We have a couple of bicycles, 3 of them right there. 4. If a child placed with you were afraid of your pet or became allergic to the pet, what would you do? Well, based upon past experience, my son is allergic to some things, and we still have the pets. But he hasn't had any severe conditions with it. But I would like to get the pets out of the house. Like my dog, she could have her own room, like her own doghouse outside. You see, my goal is to build tiny houses where they are as big as maybe 5 feet wide by 7 feet long, just a little bit bigger than a coffin, and that's where I sleep. Then another one for my tools, and another one for my books and things, until I can condense. How do you handle privacy and nudity in your home? Privacy, everybody stays in their own room. Nudity, I get undressed in the bathroom. Well, I walk around in my underwear and I go take a shower, but most people aren't here anyway when I do that. My wife gets home at 7 o'clock at night, so we eat dinner. We just keep away from each other, so like I'm over here in my garage, my room. So there is no nudity really. Alright. What is your relationship with your neighbors? All right, with this lady, she loves me because I cut her grass. With that neighbor across, he loves me because I cut his grass. The other neighbor, he loves me. He comes to live with us. Um, let's see. The other neighbor, he doesn't want to look at us, so he doesn't talk to anybody, so we just leave him alone. Um, with a couple of other neighbors, I water her plants. One time, the other one, I cut her grass. The other one, I cut her grass. And then everybody else is just farther away. There are some other neighbors I cut the grass for. So I have a great relationship with my neighbors. Most of the time. At least I don't have any arguments with them. There's one lady that she's very rude. So I just keep away from her and I don't see her. Have you mentioned your interest in becoming a foster or adoptive parent to your neighbors? No? If yes, how do your neighbors feel about you becoming a foster or adoptive family? Well, no, I haven't talked to them. Who are the people who most regularly visit your home or whose homes you regularly visit? Well, we don't visit anyone really. As far as like I do, if I go cut their grass, or I go pick up food, there's a lady that gives me food. The Meals on Wheels program. So who visits my home? Well, there's one friend that's a carpenter. He came tonight. He rode his bicycle. Who else visits my home? That's about it. Nobody visits here. Let's see, who else comes? The Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, we stay outside and we visit for half an hour. It's just with me. And that's maybe once every 2 or 3 months. 9. How have these people reacted to your desire to become a foster or adoptive family? Well, my friend and I, we didn't talk about that. We talked about lasers and cutting tree branches down with a laser. He said that it hasn't been invented just yet. And that people would be able to use that to murder other people from a distance. So he says that it wouldn't work just yet. 10. Type of home, check. It's a single family house. 12. How long have you lived in your present home? 11 years. 12. Please draw a floor plan of your home and identify the room where a new child would sleep. Well, right there, next to my bed there. Is your house free of lead paint? Unknown. Where are smoke alarms located? They don't have any. They're in a drawer somewhere. They don't have batteries. Do you have private well water? No. How do you get to the following places? Grocery store. The wife drives and I ride my bicycle. Doctor's offices, the wife drives. Hospital, the wife drives. Department store, the wife drives. I ride my bicycle. She drops me off. Place of worship, I get picked up. Do you have a car seat for infants and toddlers? At the time, sure. Now, probably still do have them somewhere around. If you do not have one and you are interested in fostering or adopting infants and toddlers, how will you arrange to have and use one of them? Just go buy one. 18. How many more children can your car hold? Well, I don't have a car. I have a bicycle. So, my wife, she drives a minivan. She's got room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. What are the ways in which a new child placed in your home might cause some problems or concerns in keeping your home and housekeeping standards? How will a child cause problems? Well, let me look at my children. How do they cause problems? They want to play video games and discussed your desire to foster or adopt with close relatives? Nope. If yes, how did they react? Okay, at the time, my mother said that they are criminals, future criminals. So what can I say? We abandoned that plan because, as you see, the paperwork is very intense. It's supposed to be filled out by a husband and wife. So I don't really have a marriage. I'm legally married, but my wife doesn't do anything with me except when I get her to do some work, like she gets a customer and she wants me to go cut the grass. Well, she takes me over there. She picks me up sometimes, or she even cuts the grass while I'm there with the customer. I also do cut part of the grass. Let's say I do the front yard, she does the backyard. All right, so I went through the whole paperwork for becoming a foster parent. This is not all of it. This is part 2A. I don't know where the first sheet is, 1A. God bless you, everyone that's around you. Do follow your dreams. Many dreams cannot be accomplished, but what you can do is you can organize your life like I'm doing now. I'm processing all of this paperwork. That's why I made this video. And now I will keep working a little bit longer. Organize your life so you can, if you exercise and you're in shape, you can do more things for yourself and for other people. So if you don't want to exercise, go play soccer with kids. You can be the goalie. God bless you and those that surround you.